The Lonely Prince, Chapter 2, A Massive Misunderstanding. Twilight and Blue Blood left his quarters and started heading towards the dining hall. Twilight decided to start the act early so the guards at his chamber doors would overhear.
Tell me about the rest of your day, beloved. I can't believe I just agreed to pretend to be his fiancé so he can practice on me for the real one. This is going to be Tartarus on my nerves and emotions. I wonder if he would have still asked this of me if he knew I liked him. I don't believe that he would hurt my feelings on purpose, but there's no way that I won't fall in love with him only for him to break my heart when he finally proposes to the other mare. Whoever she is.
Blue Blood sighed. Oh, my morning was horrible before you arrived, dearest. I'm still in the process of rejecting all those other marriage offers. You know I only have eyes for you. As they left earshot, the guards started whispering to each other frantically. Did you hear that? That must have been a very productive meeting. The senior guard shook his head. Such a dramatic change. I wonder if she cast a spell on him or him on her, and neither of them is acting normal. The first guard widened his eyes. Or maybe they were replaced by changelings? The senior guard looked around to see if any other pony could have heard that. Now look, we're guards, not maids. If we get caught spreading rumors, they're going to transfer us to that frozen wasteland of the Crystal Empire to help settle things, and I am not going to freeze my ass off, so cut out the crazy theories. The chastised guard looks at the floor. What makes your theory any less crazy than mine? The senior guard rolled his eyes. Well, they're both unicorns that have been extensively trained. A love spell isn't as far-fetched as us failing to protect them from changelings. Now remember that we are still on duty. Blue Blood did his best to keep up a natural-sounding conversation, but found it hard to speak with Twilight pressed up against him tightly. She was nuzzling him as they walked, and she just seemed to fit beside him like she was made just for him. Her tail was wrapped around one of his rear legs, which was very distracting from how intimate the action was. Is she acting, or does she have real feelings for me? Like I have real feelings for her. Should I just ask her and get it over with? They reached the dining hall quickly enough, and the doors opened with magic. Twilight's eyes were closed, using Blue Blood to guide her steps with all the trust of a mare in love. The maids they passed had looked at both of them in open-mouthed shock, but said nothing. Twilight finally spoke up, breaking the recent silence.
So what's for dinner, beloved?
Blue Blood tapped his chin in thought. I didn't check today's menu, but I'm sure the chef, He trailed off abruptly. Twilight opened her eyes and looked up at him.
The chef what, beloved?
She followed his gaze to the table, where Princess Celestia was sitting at the head of the table, with wide eyes, mouth hanging in open shock, and wings slightly flared. Twilight emitted a loud shriek and then did what was probably the worst thing she could have done under the circumstances. She tried to hide behind Blue Blood. Ancient instincts to protect his mate took over, and he involuntarily took up a battle stance learned from the many self-defense classes he had once taken. Celestia's eyes managed to go wider before she chuckled. Beloved, is it, Twilight, protecting your mate like an ancient unicorn, Blue Blood? Well, good for you. When were the two of you going to tell me? Twilight managed to untangle herself from Blue Blood's tail as she desperately tried to suppress a blush hot enough to rival the sun itself.
You see, Princess...
Celestia raised an eyebrow, and Twilight's explanation faltered. Celestia smiled. I knew the two of you had something special going from the time you fell asleep cuddling each other in political tutoring. You certainly kept it quiet, though. No rumors at all. Until today, it seems. I couldn't be happier for either of you. So, when's the wedding? Panic seemed to pour from both him and Twilight as they struggled to answer the question. On one hoof, being honest was best, but on the other, it would ruin all of his plans. Blue Blood cleared his throat. We haven't really gotten that far in the planning. Twilight interrupted him, trying to interject an idea that was sure to get shot down to hide the fact that they weren't really engaged.
Well, I was thinking about holding it during the summer sun celebration. June is a lovely month for a wedding, and the summer sun celebration is already one of the biggest parties of the year. Holding a royal wedding would make it more special. Yes?
Blueblood smirked.
Oh, very good, Twilight. There's no way she's going to go for that.
His eyes became pinpricks as Celestia smiled wider.
A lovely suggestion.
The summer sun celebration has long represented my greatest failure when I had to send Luna to the moon. It would be nice to give it a better meaning as your wedding anniversary date.
Twilight nuzzled into Blueblood to hide her face while he laughed nervously.
But, Auntie, it's still your special event. We wouldn't want to hijack it.
Celestia waved a hoof dismissively.
Oh, for something as special as the two of you? I can share.
Twilight also laughed nervously, the situation rapidly spinning out of control.
Are you sure, Princess? We could...
Celestia's glare cut her off.
Oh, and what is this princess nonsense? You're marrying my nephew, so that makes you my niece. Call me Auntie Celestia. We're family now, isn't that great?
Twilight practically died on the spot, while responding weakly.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be your niece.
Celestia eyed Twilight closely.
Twilight, is there something that you're hiding from me?
Twilight broke out in a nervous sweat.
What? Auntie?
Celestia circled her like a shark looking for a weakness.
You seem a bit more pudgy than usual. Are you pregnant?
Blueblood drew Twilight to his side, instantly protective.
Auntie, please, none of that!
Twilight almost started to cry with real distress as she sniffled into his ear.
She called me fat. Am I still pretty?
Blueblood kissed her in a reassuring way and glared at his aunt. He whispered back.
You're as beautiful as ever.
Celestia backed off.
Okay, fine. Keep your secrets. What do you need me to do?
Blueblood sighed and hugged Twilight, planting another kiss on her cheek to continue to reassure her.
For now, please start planning the wedding, but with regards to the fact that we don't know what city it will be held in yet, and please stop additional marriage proposals. I've already found my wife. Make the nobles understand that I am no longer available.
Celestia nodded vigorously.
Of course.
Herald!
The royal Canterlot voice practically cracked the wall. A tall Pegasus came running into the room. How may I serve you, your majesty? Celestia smiled.
Prince Blueblood is getting married to my faithful student Twilight Sparkle. Spread the word. I want the entire city to hear of it by tomorrow, and the whole nation should know by the end of the week. Dispatch as many couriers as is required.
The herald bowed. At once, your majesty. He turned briefly to the mortified couple. And congratulations, your highnesses. As he left the room, Twilight recovered her voice.
Highnesses?
She squeaked. Celestia walked over and nuzzled her student.
Of course, Princess Twilight.
Twilight looked over at Blueblood and gulped. Her thoughts were very loud.
Oh, prank to reality in 10 seconds flat. Rainbow Dash would be so proud.
You know, the whole time I was reading this, I got an ad for a Ziploc bag. Now, I'm not saying that Blueblood used a Ziploc bag as a condom. I'm just saying, kind of funny. Anyway, let's get on to our smart donators. Top donators, Jessie Smith, Zar630, BadassWaffle, Onlyonething, Ceru, Orion, and Caladis. Matchvic, Jock, Luciisu, Rayden, RuneScythe, Will, Twinkie, Luigi, Chancellor, Crust, Big Smoke, Murder Princess, LILmighty, Solar Symphony, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.